Okay.
So good afternoon, everybody. Another grey day in January here in the UK, and so it's nice to be able to share these moments of gratitude with you all.
And really needed as well right now.
Yeah, I feel a little bit like that as well. Yeah, it's a funny old time of the year, isn't it? So it's a good time to do the gratitude. And yesterday it really picked up my spirits doing that. And then I was able to function for the rest of the afternoon without going to bed.
I was actually quite productive yesterday afternoon as well. Like I felt like I got quite a lot of stuff done, which was good. So
yeah,
I guess that's part of the point of being in that attitude of gratitude, is that you are more productive, more creative, just generally more in flow, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, when you start vibrating at that more great gratitude state, all that stuff comes more towards you. So you are in, like what you just said, in a more creative space and all of those things. So obviously I've lost my power of words again today, so this is quite interesting. So let's just drop in first of all to some presence in ourselves. So I invite you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And as you breathe in, feel yourself being energized. And as you breathe out, just letting go of any tension in your body. And let's just do a slightly different visualization today. I want you to imagine that you're breathing all the way down into your toes. Just feel those toes, maybe give them a little bit of a wiggle. So you really feel into those toes. And then imagine that there's a beautiful sphere of glowing, sparkling light. You can decide what color you want that to be, floating just above those toes. And on the next in-breath, you're going to pull that sphere of light in through your toes, your feet, your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs. And then let that energy pool in your hips and pelvis and swish around. And then pulling it through your abdomen, into your tummy, into your chest, and up through the center of your spine, the center of your body, up into your shoulders, separating down along your arms to your fingertips. And then let's pull that wave again through the fingers, hands, wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, into the shoulders, into the neck, swirling around your face and spiraling up into the crown of your head. So whole body filled with this beautiful, pulsating, vibrant light. Just breathing here for a moment. And then bring your hands to your heart. Notice those hands, if they're warm or chilly. And just imagine that you have a cup of love and gratitude in your hands, and you're just going to put that into your heart. Just asking yourself, if I could give myself one thing in this moment, what would it be? And if you can feel that, you can perceive that, turn up the volume. What are the feelings? What are the thoughts? What are the emotions? What are the sensations and the feelings that this heart's desire would give you? And then maybe just sum those feelings up into one feeling. And then imagine that feeling mingling with the light in your body to fill you to the tips of your toes, the tips of your fingers, the tips of your hair on your beautiful head. And just feel your whole body resonating with this feeling. And then when you're ready, take a stretch. Maybe yawn out that face, open your eyes, come back into this space. What was your feeling, Stacey?
I had a bath.
My feeling was satisfaction today.
Oh, was it? Nice.
Satisfaction. Yeah. And yeah. I felt like, yeah. Because satisfaction is something that eludes me quite often.
Oh.
Like, it doesn't matter what I do, you know, I'm rarely satisfied, always like.
Is that like with what you do?
The next thing.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that.
Taking a moment to actually go, oh yeah, actually good job, well done, before I'm thinking about the next thing. I think that's partly to do with having kids and people that you're kind of responsible for in some ways as well. There's always something,
do you know,
pulling your attention onto the next thing rather than taking time to be satisfied.
Yeah, something came to me the other day, you know, when we kept pulling the and everyone kept saying about it was their grandparents that were the people that were believing them in as a child.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, why don't we say our own mother? Why is it always our grandmother? And I think maybe it's because when you're a grandmother and your own daughter has like grown and she's successfully produced another child who you absolutely love and adore. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, even my brother said that when he met my children, he didn't realize how much he was going to love them straight away. And I think, and my mum said the same thing about having grandchildren. She said it was like the same as having her own children, but different. So it was almost like it came to me that when you've produced this child and then this child then grows up and successfully produces another child, then you kind of like stop worrying so much about the child. And so you're just more free. So you already know that child is going to be okay, because you know its parents been okay. And so you're not, because when you're bringing up your own children, you're just constantly like, oh, is this child going to grow into like a human being that's going to find peace and happiness? And is this child that I'm rearing, are they going to be, you know, are they going to be okay? And I don't just mean like financially, I just mean like okay in every way, you know, like mentally, is their mental health going to remain okay, all those things. But yeah, I don't know.
And you can just have more your grandparents, even though they've got that stuff going on, which they clearly have. And I think more and more these days, I mean, grandparents are just as busy as everybody else, aren't they? But there's something about being able to indulge that child in a way that the mum can't do. Mums get a lot of shit thrown at them. Much more than dads, actually, most of the time, because dads can like do a lot of things to a child and they just turn up and it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Whereas mums have a slightly harder time. I feel that that's the way society is quite often.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
yeah,
probably
so but
part
your
of this.
grandparents,
They don't have
no.
that today. They've just got the freedom to be. And I think also as you get older, don't you? You just come more into your own, like you are more in your own power and like security in your own self by the time you get to sort of grandparent age. So that's going to be apparent to the children hanging out with the grandparent, aren't they?
Yeah,
You know, that
yeah, definitely.
person is going to. But yeah, I definitely think that. I mean, my parents are still working, and they're both in their 70s, and they're both still working. So.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the case for a lot of kids now, you know, even though my kids are, you know, like teenagers, their grandparents are still working, so it's not like they've.
Yeah, same here. Like I had my child, like my granny was 2 years older than me. She was like 30 she was like 39 when she became a grandma, and I was 37 when I became a mother. So like it's like it's a lot different to what it used to be in a lot of ways, I think, as well. But like, and that seemed, your grandma always seems so old, but you know, when you get to our age, well, you're obviously, you know, younger than me.
Not that much younger than you.
10 years.
10, yeah, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot, yeah, right. It's a quarter of my life.
Exactly. You just like, you don't like my grandma would have been like a grandma for like 17 years at this point. Do you know what I mean? In my life, which is quite something to think about, isn't it? Anyway, we digress.
We do, sorry. But you know,
it's a good thing to be think grateful about these things.
It is, and it's good to be grateful for the, not just the kind of the fact, because obviously not everyone has grandparents, but, and I think it's going to get less and less, isn't it, don't you think? Because as people are getting older and older as they have their children, you know, like the average age when I had mine was 27. The average age to give birth was 27, and it's getting older every year, and that was like 13 years ago, so it's got to be gone up to sort of 31 by now, like the average age to give birth. So if you've got like, and the next generation is also 31, and make you 60 by the time you're a grandparent. And then if it gets longer than that, like the age goes up again. Yeah. So I'm just grateful that I had grandparents, I suppose.
I'm grateful that I had grandparents. I'm grateful that I had a child, because it's harder and harder to have a child these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
For all the pain that she causes me.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. As much as like my I'm not with my kid's dad anymore. I'm still grateful that I have my children. So
yeah.
Okay,
so let's think about
I mean, please, can we warm up, because I'm like cold. Do you know what, I'll just share because I think it's actually relevant. But this morning I was in the pouring rain. I did have waterproofs on, so it wasn't like I soaked through, but I was in the pouring rain and I was weeding the strawberry patch. And do you know what came to mind? I was like, well, my future self is grateful already. It's like, and that was the feeling I had. So I think doing this challenge really does actually bring it up for you more often, doesn't it? You're more able to access that, right? What can I make? Like, what can I see that I can be grateful for in this situation? Because essentially I was wet, I was cold, I was a bit grumpy because, you know, I didn't want to get out of bed this morning. And but then I was thinking, do you know what, in the summer I'm gonna be so grateful I did this.
Yes, and actually we already did a warm-up card.
We did,
because we did the light body activation.
Well, there we go.
So I think we need to go into a one. So let's see. God, we've done so many of these now. Okay, this is one that I don't think we've done. So the idea of the Raise Your Vibe card, I'm doing it today, aren't I? I can see that. We pick one of these beautiful cards that I made and designed last year, and we bring in 68 seconds of gratitude about whatever is written on this card. And so we take it in turns, and we are talking from the heart and listening from the heart, because actually being able to talk about these things, one, lifts your vibe, but also listening to other people's stories also lifts your vibe. And if you're just in that state of talking from the heart, listening from the heart, it's a good practice to come into more presence yourself and just calm down your whole nervous system. So when we active listening and talking and having that space to talk really helps to calm the nervous system and get you in a high frequency state. So today's card, have you got a timer? My favorite animal is...
Is this me first?
Yeah.
Ooh, my favorite animal is, it used to be a manatee. So it probably still is a manatee, sometimes called a dugong. It's like a big sea cow. They're like, it kind of looks like a big, it is literally the cross between a cow and a seal in a way. And they live in the shallows of some rivers, but they also live in like shallow sea areas as well, but warm water only. So I think I feel like an affinity to them, clearly, because my happy place today was in the bath. And so I do like being in warm water, you know, like I like that feeling of like floating around, and the way that they just seem so placid, and they're vegetarians, and they just got these cute little faces, these little whiskers and these tiny little hands, and I just feel like although they look really kind of cumbersome in a way, they're not when they're in the water. They're kind of like, you know, they just float about grazing on things, and they're really like non-violent, and they live in big communal groups. That's it.
Okay, thank you for that. My favorite animal is, I've got two, but probably the first favorite animal is the wolf. I love wolves. And what is it about them? Well, one, I love howling at the moon, so I think I'm part wolf. I just love the look at them, their eyes, and how amazing they look. And they're like, you know, so far removed from a common dog. They're quite like cats when you meet wolves in the wild, or they're you know, there's a wildness about them that is still like cats rather than dogs. I love that they live, you know, in all the high places of the world, and that they've been so successful that they've managed to get onto most continents. And I love that it's matriarchal. It's a matriarchal lineage. So there's the alpha female who chooses the alpha male. Thank you.
Cool. Didn't know that.
So
one more,
and then we'll call it quits today, I think, because it's already 20 past.
We had a waffle on, haven't we?
Okay, a happy day for me was, should we do this in the last year rather than in like our whole life?
Yeah.
A happy day for me in the last year was
me.
Yeah.
All right. A happy day for me in the last year was probably the day that I moved here to the farm, the day that it all became so very real. Because I'd been and had you have to come and have like a taster session to see if you're going to actually fit within the community, etc. But the day that I moved here was absolutely chaotic. It was just manic. I had I borrowed a vehicle from work, and just moved in this vehicle, and backwards and forwards with my beds and everything, and putting all my stuff into like not only into storage, but I managed to rehome so many of my belongings to places that really needed it. So that was really cool, to like smaller charities around. And so it just felt really liberating, and it felt like the beginning of a new chapter. So that was the beginning of June last year. It also happened to be one of the busiest days at the campsite here at the farm because of the Liam Gallagher concert. So it was just like so much going on, but really exciting. And that's my time.
Thank you. Good. So a happy day for me in last year was, I think, there's been quite a few, which is cool, but I think my happiest day was when I treated myself, Lyndon and Arwen, my daughter, to a day on a sailing boat in Greece, and there was just us three on it, and I love boats anyway, but we just sailed around a little bit on the waves, went swimming a few times. They made us this amazing lunch, and it was just so nice, because at that point I hadn't seen Lyndon for about a month as well, so it was just like our present to ourselves when we saw each other again. So we were just all loving on the waves, and there was a cute guy who was like the first mate, and so Owen was like all happy as well. So we were just loving it. Was the boat of love, and it was fantastic.
I can picture it.
Good.
Teenage girls, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I felt like as well.
Nice.
After I couldn't see my husband for a month, I felt like a teenage girl too. So hello. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was lovely. I liked hearing about that.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so let's conclude for today. And I'll raise your vibe game today. As usual, you can check us out. You can buy some of these beautiful cards by checking out the link below. And we've got loads of great new in-person workshops coming up in March, in May, in June, in July, in August, as well as obviously the online Global Ecstatic Awakening dance that happens once a month. So all of those links are under this video. Please do check it all out, and reach out to either Stacey or myself if you have any more questions, regarding any of those things, and or you want to come and play some Raise Your Vibe with us.
Indeed.
Good.
Thank
so
you.
Lots of love. See you tomorrow.